Hey everyone, and welcome to the Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey video podcast. I think one thing that we can all agree on is that it can be really hard to dismantle dysfunction. There's absolutely a clear correlation between having role models and people around you who have reached elements of success, and the effect that this then has on your own abilities to find what freedom looks like to you. Perhaps it's finding a new job, sitting those exams you've been putting off, or leaving that abusive relationship. Our aim here at Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey is to give you an insight into politely rebellious humans who are living out their dreams right here in Pompey, despite facing obstacles along the way. We've just wrapped series 1 and we're ready to share 7 incredible journeys with you. All we ask of you is to like, subscribe and share these incredible stories. And be nice. Always be freaking nice. At the end of the series, all new subscribers will be entered into a prize draw, which we will record and announce right here. So if you want to see series 2, please remember to do all the free stuff. Like, subscribe, share, and enjoy series 1.
The Liberty stuff, that was amazing to do, but please know it took a lot. Yeah. I was that one person on the beach that I didn't want to take my towel off, and I was looking at everyone else, and because I thought that I wanted to give my kids a normal family, when in reality what we had weren't normal. It was abuse. I'll have to take it on the chin, it was me.
Was it?
I was going through something mentally. I think I just got so overwhelmed with, I had so much going on in my personal life, and then I always still wanted to have a solo career and have Guilt Trippin.
So welcome to another episode of Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey, and today we are joined by the amazing Michelle Price, who is not just your average Pomponian girl. She is also a solo singer, manager of 6 Highland Road, and a third of awesome, iconic Pompey-based band. So yeah, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. And do you know what, actually? It wasn't until I started stalking you that I realised.
Stalking?
Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, you do that anyway, but I feel like I've now got an excuse to do it, or a reason. But I didn't actually realise we went to the same freaking school.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. And we would have been
Which
at
one?
the same time. St Luke's.
Oh.
Did you go there the whole way through?
I went there from year 9, so I went in 2004 to 2007.
Oh no, you would have just missed me then.
Oh, did you leave?
I left in 2003.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have seen you there.
Oh,
then.
typical. But yeah, how funny. So did you have Miss Trahan and English teacher, and did it feel like a lifetime ago?
I hated school.
Did you?
Yeah, I wasn't very nice at school, to be honest.
I mean,
school wasn't for me.
Who?
I think for me it was always a case of, I've always had a bit of a problem with being told what to do.
Authority.
I don't like authority. I don't like people telling me what to do. Yeah. And I think because in my house, I was the adult essentially. I looked after myself a lot. I was very independent.
Okay.
So when I was then put in an environment where I was spoken to like a child,
it's confusing.
I was a bit like, whoa, who are you talking to? So no, I didn't.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, it wasn't for
do you
me.
know what's really funny though for you to say that, because I'm very similar. So I was allowed to just run wild as a child, could just do what I wanted. But then looking at your career, you've obviously got an element of, that ability to be managed, because you've always grafted, haven't you?
Yeah, but I think that's only because everything I do is very independent. So any job I've been sacked from so many jobs. And I'm not joking.
Talking back.
For my attitude, yeah. But I'm not rude.
Yeah.
I'm not horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like people speaking to me in a certain way. And no job for me is worth being spoken down to.
Yeah, I agree.
So the fact from the second that I don't like the way that somebody who thinks they're above me speaks to me, I will always be, who are you talking to?
Yeah,
you won't speak to me like that. And it obviously doesn't end well.
It's a funny one actually, because I think that I think the younger generation are a bit luckier than us, because I think when people say snowflake and woke or whatever, but I think when it comes to the law and like HR and rights and stuff, I think people are like a lot more awake to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like back in the day when you were first starting out working 16, 17 or
You
whatever.
did as you were told, or yeah. Well, not me personally.
Yeah.
Not me.
Sometimes. So you went to St Luke's from age like 14 kind of thing, yeah? So where were you before that?
King Richard's.
Oh, I'm in King Richard's
Actually.
Only for 6 months.
Yeah, I went there until year 8.
Oh, how funny.
That didn't really work out for me.
No. Get my words out. Were you living in Paulsgrove?
So I grew up in Paulsgrove.
Oh wow.
I lived in Leominster Road. Don't tell me you lived there.
No, I lived on Cheltenham Road.
So I lived in Leominster Road until I was like 10, 11, and then I moved to Lamport.
Oh wow.
But because all of my friends from primary school were going to King Richard's,
right.
obviously I really wanted to go there. But in that time I'd made friends with everyone down the town.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting on very well at school at King Richard's, so I moved to St Luke's.
This about you. So you've experienced the same hardship as myself. So I started off at St Luke's, and then in year 8 we moved up to Paulsgrove, and I went to King Richard's for 6 months, and that was just not a very nice time. And so I ended up going back to St Luke's, but I used to get the bus down. So you must have been getting the
bus from like McDonald's town to Paulsgrove.
Yeah, whereas I used to get it from Alloway Avenue.
And it was long because I had to get a bus at like 20
Yeah,
past 7 or something
work,
ridiculous like that, and I'm not a morning person.
Oh, that's mad. The shit you do for your friends though, eh?
Yeah, I was happy actually when I went to St Luke's.
Yeah.
It was a lot better getting up at like 8:15 or something.
Yeah,
literally rolling out of bed.
Jacob's ladder.
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, how fun. No, I did not know that. That's what I love about this though, is that you learn the stuff about people that you don't expect to know. So Paulsgrove and then Lamport, finished up school at St Luke's.
Yeah.
And you say you didn't really like school because of just the teachers and stuff, like so being told what to do kind of thing.
I think there were some things I liked about school. Like I can't say I hated school completely school for me was just somewhere to socialise. I went when I felt like going, and I went because I wanted to be around my friends. And I'll be honest, like when I think about it now, and now that I've got kids in senior school, I'd recommend going. Yeah. And I think he is, especially now. So I think back then, GCSEs didn't really mean a lot, and they didn't. Yeah. You could kind of get through life without them. However, I did retake my GCSEs when I wanted to do them. So I retook mine in college, and I've now got an A in Maths and English. Yeah, right on. But I would recommend.
It was on your terms.
Yeah, and I think that's because that's what it was. It was when I wanted to do it, and I was in control of that. So I think I'm probably secretly just a bit of a control freak.
Yeah, no, but sometimes that's how you get shit done, though. Yeah. Isn't it? So I'm kind of getting this hint then, maybe talking about you being an adult at home and not really liking sort of being told what to do. And I know that you've mentioned your nan quite a few times. So do you not have a particularly great relationship with your parents?
My dad I'm very close to. So I grew up from the age of 11. It was just me and my dad.
Oh wow.
My mum left, and then I didn't see my mum until I was 16, 17. So I think that's such a big chunk, and it's really important years to be without like a woman in your life. But my dad, for the first couple of years maybe, he didn't do very well without my mum, and I spent a lot of time just on my own, sort of bringing myself up. I had to learn how to run a house.
That's a lot. No wonder why you can write amazing songs, mate.
I just sort of made sure, I got to school, I kept the house going. I had to it was little things that you don't really think of about kids needing to know how to do, like use a washing machine.
Yeah, remember to
Didn't have a clue how to the first time I used the washing machine, I flooded the kitchen. I don't know what was going on. It was making all these weird noises, but I got there in the end, and I had to teach myself to cook. Wow. So that I could eat.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
An older brother.
Yeah.
But when my mum left, he's like 6 years older than me. He just sort of went as well, and he moved up to Hertfordshire.
Oh wow.
And just kind of left me as well. But I think I just sort of slipped through the cracks. Like, it kind of wasn't anyone's fault. Yeah. Because I was just so good at making sure that other people thought that I was absolutely fine and there wasn't anything going on. That everyone just assumed that I was being looked after by someone.
Right. God, what a crazy road.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big old, like, I don't want to say not burden, but just a big old bag to carry, isn't it? Like, that's a lot.
And I think, you know, like I say, I think that's probably definitely the reason why I've always had a bit of a problem with authority, because for me in my life, it's only ever been me to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So, and I've never felt I needed to tell him what to do.
Yeah. So do you work better when you're in jobs where you get to kind of manage yourself? Because you're a manager now, aren't you?
Yeah.
6 Highland Road.
Yeah.
So no one really kind of tells you exactly what to do on a day-by-day basis?
No, it's just I answer to myself, and I think that is the best way for me to be.
Yeah.
And it, you know, that it can be seen as a negative thing by some people, like I suppose, and I suppose it is in a way, but it's also not, because I will always put myself in a position where I'm my own boss.
Yeah, yeah. And when did you find music in amongst all of this, like, chaos?
I think I always loved singing, and I always really loved singing when I was little, and I was a bit of a show off. Like, I was that kid that would come downstairs and be like, everybody listen to me, watch me, look at what I can do, watch the dance I've made up, listen to my song. Like, I just constantly wanted to be seen or heard.
But that makes it even more sad that then you were just like on your own.
Yeah.
Like this like precious little being with full of talent.
But I always did like the school choir and things like that, but actually I never wanted to be a singer. Believe it or not, I wanted to be in the Olympics. Like, I wouldn't run for the ice cream van now, but I really wanted to be a runner, and I was really good. So I was in the Hampshire athletics team, and I used to compete for Hampshire athletics, and I held like records throughout Hampshire for like 4 years in a row. And I really wanted to be in the Olympics.
And was that when you were a teenager?
Like pre-teen, so that was probably from like 11 to 14. And I suppose then I probably just discovered like smoking, drinking, going out, got unfit, unhealthy.
Basically, you went to Sydney when you were
and I was actually, I can sit down and sing. I don't need to run while I do that. But I always loved music. I did like some West End shows when I was a kid. In fact, I really wanted to do musical theatre. And when I think about it now, like I went like in a proper opposite direction, really. But theatre was what I really wanted to do, because I really loved acting as well.
Did you take those types of GCSEs, like music, drama?
I didn't do any at school.
No. Did you go on to college?
Yeah, I went to South Downs, which they didn't want to let me in because I had no GCSEs, and my track record in school obviously wasn't great with my behaviour. But I was like, no, like, I promise you, like, I really want to be here. Like, if I'm telling you I want to come here, it's because I actually really want to come. Like, I want to come and do music. And I was like, I'll behave, I'll be here every day, like, on time, like, and I'll do all the work, and I will work really hard, like, please trust me. And they were like, we'll give you an audition. And so I sat down in front of like a panel of people that were all at the head of the music departments at South Downs. I think I got like halfway through a verse, and his name was Gary, I can't think of his surname. But he was just like, stop. And he was like, fine, yes, come if you can come.
Do you remember what you sang?
Reflections, I think, Christina Aguilera version.
I loved a bit of Christina.
I love Christina Aguilera.
There was a song on her was it her first album?
Stripped.
Is it Stripped? Where it's like a cappella, it's about domestic violence.
I'm okay.
Tune.
I love that song.
Absolute tune. Oh my God. I remember me and my friend Zara singing it together at a talent show. Just like no music on or anything. That is a good song. If you haven't heard it, go find it.
It's number 14.
Is it? You
heard that one? I do, I love that album. It's one of my favourite ever albums.
It's really good. It's it's one of those like life-changing ones, actually. Just especially because it was the era of like Britney Spears and everything, and Christina just went a bit deeper, didn't she?
Yeah, I loved that. I've always I think listened very carefully to lyrics.
Yeah.
And I think I've always used music like
as a
for my mood. Yeah.
I mean, you write some incredible songs.
Oh, thank you.
And you've obviously recently released another song which has been out there on the radio.
Yeah.
It's hitting up there in certain charts, on, is it Apple charts and stuff like that?
Yeah, like the iTunes, yeah.
So I'm not very down with the kids with that. I'm on Spotify, I do follow you on there. How does that make you feel?
It's just weird, to be honest. Like, I think, in a way, it's sort of like it's happened so many times now that it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, like, it don't feel like a big deal, or I try and tell myself it's not, because I sort of look at everything like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not good enough.
Right.
So, being number 13 in the charts, obviously ridiculous, because, like, logically, I do everything, like I said, I do everything completely independently. I don't put any money into anything. I don't have any management. I don't have a label. Like, all the things that people would normally have to push their music, I don't have. So to get the little achievements that I have had is unreal, but I don't want to hold on to that and be content with it.
Okay.
Because I look at that, I'm like, it's number 13, but it ain't number 1.
Yeah.
But that's not me being negative. Like, I just
want
more.
Do better.
Like, I just want to be better.
Yeah. And I don't think that you'd have got to where you are today if you hadn't been wired that way. I mean,
yeah. I think I'm always trying to prove something to myself. Like, I spent my 20s doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I kick myself about now. I think if I'd have worked this hard on music when I was 18, 19, 20, my life could be completely different. Because now I'm coming up for 34 and I haven't achieved the things I really wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And I've passed up a lot of opportunities because I'm a mum and things like that, and it's hard to juggle things. But
when did you have your first baby?
18.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah.
So was that just after you left college?
I was 17 when I left college, and then I met my kid's dad.
Because you were married, right? I remember seeing one of your posts recently on socials, and you said something like, I'm wild in my 30s because I was like held back in my 20s or something like that. So is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, no, I met my kid's dad, who I married. Yeah. I met him when I was 16, maybe 17.
Oh, wow.
Had a baby at 18, another one at 21, another one at 24. Got married at 25, 26, and divorced a year later.
Wow.
So we were together for 10 years. I didn't do anything. I didn't do music while we were together. He was very uncomfortable with my personality, I think. And so I spent years just sort of dulling myself down and being quiet, staying in, just being a mum, being a wife.
Was he quite controlling? Yeah.
Yeah, massively, yeah.
Do you have a relationship with him now?
No. Like, an email relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, we literally only communicate via email, which is absolutely fine with me. But yeah, he was, I think it's quite sad. I think he was just a very insecure person. And when I was 18, I was like this wild, loud, well, pretty much back to what I am now. I think I've just sort of reverted back, but I was always
we need to put in a clip of Michelle on a night out recently where she fell off a wall.
Oh my God.
Into someone's door, and it was
Ring door. Oh, thank God for Ring doorbells.
You need to send that.
I think when I was 18, I was so full of confidence, like so confident, and I loved the way I looked.
Right.
Like, I had like really long, thick, dark hair, and I had a really nice curvy figure, and I hadn't had any kids yet, and I was really slim, and I dressed inappropriately to show that off, but I liked it, and I really liked myself. And I think I just rated myself as a person. Like, I just probably rated myself when I was young.
That for like
and then
10 years.
Yeah, then I think it was mainly after I had my second daughter, Millie. My body, that's when my body really changed. And I think he found like that bit of thread and was like, oh, let's unravel that then.
Yeah.
Because once he saw that I was
like that insecurity.
It was horrible, because I'd never been someone who even particularly cared about what anyone else thought of me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. Like, and I really couldn't either. Like, I had to take the mirror out of the bathroom for me to have a bath or a shower. I wouldn't sleep with my husband. I didn't want to share a bed with him because I didn't want him to look at me. I didn't want him to touch me. Like, I absolutely hated myself.
And did he feed into those insecurities? Would he, you know, like put you down?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. Like, obviously, we're not doing swearing on here, but please know that
we can always bleep something.
My I'll just spell it out. But my Millie, one of her first like sentences was her. I shouldn't laugh because it's not funny, but it is now. She got out the car and I said, "Oh, shut the door then, baby." And she went, "Okay, fat, see you in tea." But she said it like with so much love.
And
I thought
it was just normal.
I thought, oh my God, like you say that to me so much that she thinks it's like a term of endearment. She thinks that's a proper nice thing to say. Yeah. It was just like saying, "Oh, okay, babe." Like she said it that casually and I was just like,
wow.
I didn't know what to, and then something really switched in my head and I thought, no, like it's not correct. Absolutely not right. But yeah, I think he just sort of, like I say, just picked away at me a little bit and he made me hate myself more than anything, but I think he loved it.
Yeah, like you got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy, but for someone like me who's only known you as Michelle Price the singer, part of Guilt Trippin, I've seen like some of your body positivity photos. Was like Liberty photography? Yeah. Like that type of stuff. Like you just would never expect that kind of story.
I wouldn't even sit here and lie and say I am absolutely like really confident with the way I am. I'm not. Like there are things I would change.
But you're smoking.
But I'm also not in that place where I just don't really care that much anymore. Like I'll have days where I wake up and I'm like, oh, I really need to go on a diet. I want to lose weight and I want to join the gym. But then I'll sit there and eat an Easter egg for breakfast. And I don't care that much. Like, I just don't. And I make little jokes. I'm like, oh, with a personality like mine, you can be as fat as you like. I just sort of like talk myself out of it. Yeah. But the Liberty stuff, like that was amazing to do. But please know it took a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was that one person on the beach that I didn't want to take my towel off, and I was looking at everyone else, and that's what I find weird. And I think we all do it. So I think when you're a bit bigger, you can look at someone the same size as you or twice the size of you. And I can look at them and think, oh, they look well good.
Yeah, same.
You look so good. Like, oh my God, you look amazing.
I'd never do it myself.
But then I'm like, no, but I don't know. Even though they're going to look at you and think the same thing, you will never look at yourself the way other people do. And I think that's where my confidence started to come back, because actually the one thing I really worried about when my husband left, because actually he left me as well, the audacity. He actually ruined my life and then left.
God, like, thanks for leaving.
Oh no, yeah, cheers, Brent. Honestly, done me the biggest favour. But he actually was having an affair with a girl at work, and he left.
You
but
couldn't wait it, could you?
No, it is. I do when I think about it now. I think the cheek of it, like the absolute cheek of you leaving me when I was the miserable one. But I'm glad he did, because I never would have. Like I'd have stuck around forever, and I was miserable. I was so miserable, but I'd have stayed miserable because I thought that I wanted to give my kids a normal family. Yeah. When in reality, what we had weren't normal. Yeah. It was abuse. And so then I would have just been teaching my girls that that's what's acceptable, and that's okay to be treated like that.
What a transition though, and what a reinvention. Like one of the things that really blows my mind with humans in general, but a lot of people that I've had the pleasure of meeting in Portsmouth, is how, and I think us women do it more than men, but like the power of reinventing yourself. Yeah. Like reinventing yourself because you become a mum, or then you become a mum of two, or you go from being a wife to not being a wife, or you go from, you know, cleaning to then managing a calf, or never singing except in your shower to then singing in front of hundreds of people. Just the power of reinventing yourself and making those transitions, like that's so brave. Like so brave. Which one would you say has been the hardest for you? Like the hardest change?
I think like my marriage breakdown, it was the hardest but the most beneficial at the same time. So I did have like a complete mental breakdown as well. Like my dad took my kids because I was a state, like, and it's so funny because when I think about it now and when I think about the way that I see him and I feel about him, I just think, well, what on earth was I thinking? But I was just terrified, I think. Like I said, I'd been with him and living with him since I was like 16, 17 years old. So my entire adult life was revolved around him. Like my entire day would revolve around what time does he get back from work so that I can make sure that he's got clothes on the bed and a bar front and dinner on the table. And that became like just my existence. So him not being there, I didn't know what to do with myself. And he'd also left me in that headspace where I did hate myself. And so even when it got to the point where I had to accept that actually he's not coming back, then it was like, but he'd also drummed it into me that nobody else would want me anyway. Like one of the last things he actually said to me was really, really super kind. It was that, because I was like, do you know what, if you don't want to be with me, that's fine. Like, look me in my eyes and tell me that you don't love me and you don't want to be here and you're free to leave. And he was like, Michelle, I don't love you and I don't want to be with you. That could have been the end of it. And I was like, okay, cool, fuck off. And he was like, and the thing is, nobody else is going to want to be with you either. He sat me down and he was like, you're impossible to love, like you're this, you're that. He was like, and now you come with like 3 kids, you've got so much baggage. He was like, your body has been destroyed by children.
Oh my God.
All this stuff, and I was just sat there like kicking you all up down.
Was he shouting or was he like
no, just saying it like
nasty,
just like a little just like a normal conversation.
Like,
it was just like, you're impossible to love.
Wow.
And nobody's ever gonna want you.
Do you know what though? We've all had one of those in our lives, haven't we?
I've had loads actually. I've had more than one. I don't know.
Oh God, bless you.
But no, I think that was the hardest transition for me, was then, or the hardest reinvention. So then that's where music came in for me, because then once I've got over my little mental breakdown, and when I say breakdown, please know I sat in my room in a pile of glass for like 2 weeks and didn't eat, didn't move. I smashed everything I owned.
Bless you.
I did really lose it. And then like it was like friends that were like, how you doing? Like, come on, sort your head out.
Come on, girl. But sometimes we need those moments though, right? Like, it's like, I know it's a really cheesy analogy. It's a really cheesy analogy, but like the whole like cocoon turns into a butterfly. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need that time in your hole, in your dark place, to come out and perform.
I think absolutely. I think feel whatever it is that you need to feel. Like I think people kick themselves a little bit for having a crap day. Like, don't. If you want to lay in bed and feel like crap all day, lay in bed and feel like crap all day. But tomorrow, get up.
Yeah.
Like you've got to feel, because we're all only human. Like feel whatever emotion it is that you need to feel. Like there's no shame in being angry or sad or this or that. Like you can feel that, and that's absolutely fine. But don't let it consume you. And that's what I did. I let it. I forgot I was a mum for a minute. Like I forgot that anyone else existed. I was very, very selfish in grieving my marriage, that I forgot that my kids had lost their dad.
Yeah.
And that was really selfish of me.
But it was what you needed to do, and it's for a very short period of time. Yeah. And it was so as you could come back and be as kick-ass as you have been since.
Yeah. So then for me it was like, okay, I'm not a wife anymore.
Yeah. What am I?
Like, who am I? Yeah. Like what is it that I want to do? Because I know that I didn't grow up dreaming of living in the kitchen. Like that was never on the cards for me. Like when I was little, I wanted to work on cruise ships and travel the world and entertain people. So then it was like, okay, cool, what can I do? And so I was like, I'll just go and sing in pubs or something. I thought, can't be hard, can it? So I just thought, what do I need? I need some business cards, I need a PA system. So I printed off some little business cards, bought a PA, come up with a list of like 50 songs that I thought I could sing.
Wow.
And then just said to people, I'll come and sing in your pub or whatever. The first pub I ever sang in was the Sunshine, obviously, and that was Guilt Trippin's first ever gig as well.
Oh, that's so insanely brave.
Yeah.
And did you have like the other girls from Guilt, like were they your friends? Like, did you have people around you?
Yeah, I wouldn't have got through none of that without them.
Yeah.
I remember actually when my husband left, Jodie was on holiday. And I'd not long known Lindsay, like I wasn't as close to Lindsay then as I am now. And I got into this panic and I was like, I need someone to help me. Like, I need to tell someone, my husband's left me, my life's falling apart. I was like, Jodie's on holiday and I don't want to ruin her holiday. So I phoned Lindsay and do you know what? I felt embarrassed. Like, I didn't tell my family because I was so embarrassed. I thought like, I've proper failed, like my marriage has failed and I'm ashamed. Because he made me believe that it was all my fault.
Yeah.
Like, little did I know that actually he was running around with some girl from his building site.
It was going to happen
but
at some point,
I believed him for a while. Like, when he was like, it's because you're like this, it's because you're like that, and this is why no one could be with you. So I was like, no, I'm a proper piece of shit, me. Like, oh my God, no, he's right. Like, I'm the worst person in the world. And I was going around telling everyone. In fact, I even wrote a status and I remember it coming up on my memories like last year or whenever it was. And I thought, as if I wrote that. Like, imagine me taking the entire blame for my marriage breaking down when my husband was having an affair. But that's what people can do to you mentally. Like, I just
100%.
really believed it was my fault.
That's so brutal. So sad. At what point, or do you remember the time when you finally could kind of like look back at it all and go, yeah, no, that was abuse, that wasn't my fault, like lying, cheating?
I reckon it was a good couple of years, to be honest. I think slowly, in fact, I think while we were together, there were things that I knew weren't correct, but it became normal anyway.
Yeah.
I think, after so many years of living a certain way, like that then becomes your normal. But then after we weren't together, it was the way that other men spoke to me that made me think. I remember, maybe a bit too much information, but I remember sleeping with somebody and he wouldn't stop paying me compliments, and he was like, my skin was crawling. And I just thought, please shut up, stop talking.
It's one of the most common things that, like, I know I've experienced it, but friends of mine as well, when you come out of an abusive relationship and then you say no to all the nice guys.
And he was just like, why are you so uncomfortable? And he was like, surely, like, and he said, like, didn't your husband used to say things like this to you? And I was like,
no.
Complete opposite, actually. Like, he used to call me every name under the sun, but never nice names. Like, and it was so uncomfortable. And then I was about to say something then that was going to make it sound like I was a bit loose, but after that, like,
we've all been a bit loose.
I think, like, the more, like, guys that I would then spend time with, or just
so polite. So the next few guys that I shared a cup of tea with.
Yeah, like the more people that I then like did spend time with, or casually sleep with, or whatever, and the way that. And then people, they don't have to have respect for me, and that's what I thought was mad. Like, you're a one night stand essentially. Like, you don't need to be nice to me, you don't need to have respect for me, but they did.
Yeah.
Was like, a good majority. Like, people do, and people have been really nice to me, and I've been like, and I get messages from all kinds of people, but it is, and then I think it's nice because I can sit there and think, how wrong are you? Like, you were wrong. Like, I might well have put on a few or more stone, having children. I might well have a bit of a saggy belly and stretch marks or whatever.
You don't deserve any of that.
But no one else actually cares. But I think that I've done that carrying your kids.
Yeah.
But they're your children.
Does he have a relationship with them now?
Yes and no. So the older two, not so much, but that's
more able to make their own
more their choice. But my youngest, she still goes every other weekend.
Regular.
Yeah.
So like, when you write songs, is that something you've always done? Did it start with like poetry, which is quite typical, or has it always been songs?
I remember when I was young, writing poems or
just
songs.
wanted to go, I never needed anyone.
When I was young, do you know what? Just got off topic real quick. When I was young, that song, I had like, it was like my special talent. Do you know Bridget Jones?
Yeah.
Like that little scene.
Yeah.
But when that film came out, I started doing it. But then I had to take it a step further and do the entire song. And I would just mime the whole song. And the whole thing was so dramatic and well acted out that I remember my dad filming the whole thing on a video camera. And I'm glad I haven't got it.
Oh, you haven't literally.
I wish I did. I mean, my dad might have the tape somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was that and Mariah Carey, Emotions.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like, but I used to act out and mime the stuff and make my dad like sit and watch the whole thing. And no wonder he went nuts. Like, literally, I probably drove him insane doing shit like that.
Is he alright now?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely fine. Yeah,
Good.
but yeah, I can't remember what we were saying now.
The
oh yeah, so when I was
songs.
young, I always had like a diary or a notebook or whatever, and I do remember like writing some things down and sitting and like making up a little tune to it, but I never really thought I would write music. I didn't really
in a serious way.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
But now you've written loads of amazing songs. And tell us a bit about your last couple of singles.
So the most recent one was called Someday, and actually I wrote that 5 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah, that's the first song that I wrote by myself.
Wow.
And it's just been sat on my computer, much like hundreds of other songs I've got, just doing nothing.
Oh my god, just
and
out.
I would just release that impulsively. Like I was bored.
What is the thought process behind that? So you've got loads of songs, they're recorded, and you've done all of that good stuff yourself. What is it that stops you from just going, right, I'm just going to bosh out 10 of these and see what happens? Is it because you worry about what people are going to say? And...
I think some of it, where everything I write is genuinely a very true personal story, I think sometimes I'm like, I don't want it because people won't know who that's about. Or, but I think sometimes I listen to my own songs and the first like one or two listens, I'm like, oh no, I really love that. It's really good. And I'll sing it, and I'd always have to go and put it on in the car and sing along. Like I just recorded something before I came here, and I had to listen to it in the car on the way here, like 10 times on the way up.
Oh, wowza.
But then I know that tomorrow I'm like, I'm bored of that now. Don't like it, and then it will sit there until I'm not bored of it anymore, and then I want to listen again.
Right.
But I think
and then make tweaks, will you, or?
Yeah, always.
Because you wrote a song recently as well. Was it for someone that you'd lost?
Yeah.
Was that to suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like insanely good. Like obviously not the fact they committed. I mean the song was like touching beyond.
Yeah, so I think I have to write when I'm in a certain mindset.
Yeah.
And it is normally just when I'm feeling like absolute shit. Like if I'm really upset, I'll just sit down and write it down, because I've not always been the best at talking or expressing myself. I've got a lot better actually, certainly over the last few years. I think that I've matured in that sense massively over the last few years. But yeah, I think sometimes I just have to write things down and get it out so that I don't feel like that.
Do you give yourself, and I don't know if you do, just the way you're talking about it, but like do you give yourself enough credit for like how talented you are and like how hard that is to like lyrically put words together in that way? Like it's just such a talent. But I feel like you need to go home and just bosh out 10 singles and see what happens.
Well, that's what I did with Someday. I was just like, I'd just released Almost.
Yeah.
And almost I wrote there and then. And I knew straight away, I want to release that. I really like that. Like that for me was a very pretty song. So like that was impulse. Like I was like, I want to release that right now. I need someone to play that. I need to record that. And I did it all like within a few days and then released it. Whereas Someday, like I say, was sat for like 5 years. And Someday was like part of a collection of songs I wrote about someone that I was seeing a few years ago. And off the back of that, I ended up writing quite a few songs. Like I had my feelings hurt quite a lot, like loads of times, and I just kept going back and not learning my lesson. Yeah, just went a bit of down on him. But I wrote them songs to make me feel better, and I wrote them and I showed like a couple of friends who would have understood like the context of the song.
To kind of go,
but I didn't feel the need to release them.
Do you make money out of the music when it's charting on iTunes and stuff like that? I always wonder like how that kind of stuff works.
you do make money, not a lot, not enough. It's hard actually to make money like through royalties. Like you have to get something like, I think it's something mad like 100,000 streams could earn you like £1,000.
Right.
And obviously 100,000 streams is a lot unless you're famous. It's very hard to get.
Can you not just stick your own song on repeat constantly?
No, because it knows that it's coming from your account. But that's why a lot of people that are like under labels have streaming farms.
Right.
So they'll have like a desk full of laptops and iPads and phones that is just on a constant stream.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, so you have streaming farms, and then from that
streaming farms, I've never heard of
it like boosts the algorithm, and then it gets placed into playlists, then you get organic streams as well.
Wow.
So it just sort of all goes round in a circle.
That's mental. So basically what we need for being Politely Rebellious in Pompey is a streaming farm.
Yeah.
That is mad. And Guilt Trippin. I mean, Guilt Trippin are freaking incredible. I mean, you are a powerhouse of humans.
I feel like I'm a fan of Guilt Trippin, even though I'm in it.
God, how could you not be? I love that. I love that.
It's just my favourite. Yeah, I love it. It's my favourite.
Do you just see recordings of the three of you and just...
Yeah, I actually watch us on YouTube and I don't even care.
It is mad though, isn't it?
I listen to our songs while I do my housework.
To have like three humans come together who can all sing, but that's the thing, you can all sing and the harmonies are just insane. And you obviously went your separate ways for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you've started edging yourselves back out there. What was that, so as you could all focus on solo stuff or just life?
I'll have to take it on the chin. It was me.
Was it?
I was going through something mentally. I found myself again in a bit of a narcissistic situation.
Yeah.
And I think I was just starting to struggle with, I think it became so overwhelming, and it's nuts because the last gig that we done, we supported Sophie Ellis-Bextor at a festival. And I come off stage at that festival and I was like, I feel like what I've just done, that's exactly what I'm meant to be doing with my life. Like, I absolutely loved it. Like, couldn't have loved it more. Yeah. It was at the best like half hour of my life ever. I loved it. And like, I felt like a celebrity on stage. Yeah. Like, we had the crowd joining in with everything. They were like literally screaming for like, I mean, we were like throwing merch out and people were like so excited, like, and hearing people sing your songs back to you and stuff. It was insane. And I remember getting in the car and I was just, that was like the best thing ever, but I don't do this no more.
Wow.
I think I just got so overwhelmed with, I had so much going on in my personal life. And then I always still wanted to have a solo career and have Guilt Trippin. And then you throw in like having kids and a job and this and that. And I think
and another narcissist.
My mind, and and I was just in something that wasn't healthy.
But it takes more for you to own it.
Yeah.
Obviously that takes a lot. In the moment, I'm not talking about now owning it, I mean like when you're in and you're feeling a certain way, it's going to be far more beneficial for everyone for you to go, whoa, like something's got to like kind of give right now and this is what it's got to be.
But I didn't even see it at the time as me as the problem. I thought it was everybody else. Yeah. So that I properly blamed them too. And I looked for faults and I picked holes in things, and I was just like, at first I said I don't want to do original music anymore. I was like, I just want to go back to doing the cover stuff and just singing in pubs and having fun.
Yeah, because not long before this kind of moment happened, you'd released music together, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And done a music video and stuff like that. So it was going in like a completely kind of different direction, really, to the stuff that I guess people who had followed you for a while had known Guilt Trippin for. It was
really tricky, like going from doing the covers, because that's what everyone had, come to love, and that's why I started it in the first place, because it was all the music that I absolutely loved, but just couldn't really pull off on my own. And I kept always making jokes, like, I should be a girl band, guys. I should be a girl band. And then I think something there might have been like a talent contest on the pier, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do it, but I was like, I ain't doing that on my own. I'll look like a loser. I was like, oh, why don't we all do it together?
As a girl band. And
then we didn't end up doing the talent contest, but we were like, actually, there's a proper gap for what it is 100%. That we're looking to do.
Yeah.
And we tested the waters, and we got up on the pier at another event, and we didn't even have a name. We'd never sung together. We'd never like performed in front of anyone. And we just thought, you know what, we'd get up in the gatey bar. It was full of people. And we was like, we'll just see what people think of it.
Yeah.
And if it don't go down that well, like, it is what it is. And if it's good, then cool.
You'll know, yeah.
And it just like blew up straight away. Like, people absolutely loved it. And I didn't expect to kind of get the reception that we did. And I think, because at the time it was 4 of us, you know, we were all a little bit older, we're all mums, and we used like the body positivity stuff, and it just went somewhere where I didn't actually think it would.
Yeah.
And to the point that like our first proper gig was supporting Rhythm of the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, people just trusted us straight away to do things like that.
Yeah. So how long has Guilt Trippin been a thing then?
I don't even know. What is it, like 5 years maybe?
Wowza. Yeah, I mean, you're so like tight when you perform together. It's just been like a forever thing. So you're on a upward stance with the girls as well. So your solo stuff's going nuts.
Yeah.
Guilt Trippin. Come.
I didn't get back in contact with them for Guilt Trippin though.
Yeah.
Like, I just proper missed them.
Yeah.
And I think once my life had settled down, and I needed to go through what I went through at that time to sort of reinvent myself again.
Yeah.
Like, which I seem to do on a yearly basis.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like an annual thing for me.
Yeah.
But I needed a very harsh lesson.
Yeah.
And the lesson I received was more than harsh, but I needed that, and I needed that to put things into perspective for me and to see actually who was who.
Yeah.
And what was what, and what I realised was that I let Guilt Trippin kind of cloud the friendship. Like, I forgot sometimes that we're not a band. Like, they're my best friends.
Yeah.
And it ain't, and they weren't even, they were my family. Like, it was them two that I would run to any time that my life was a mess. Like, I'd be straight in Lindsay's front door, laying on the sofa crying while someone made me a cup of tea, and like, you know, like, I would spend my Christmases with them. And I think for me, friends in general, like the friends that I have got, I absolutely worship the ground my friends walk on, and I really do, because I've never had solid relationships in my life, like with regards to family or men. Like, friendships is the only constant and the only stability I've ever had, so I really, really cherish it.
No, that's amazing, and I think that's you know, just so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So important.
I went back for them, and it took a little bit of grovelling. Like, Lindsay was harder to crack than Jodie, but I knew she would be. But I had to write it all down. Like, I think I had to email Lindsay actually, because I blocked everyone on everything and deleted everyone. Like,
deep.
I have to disassociate completely, because in reality it proper hurt. Like, and I was devastated not having them too.
But you're back, and so slowly but surely, you're out there booking gigs. Are you doing Victoria's tour?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Oh, you guys
yeah.
Trippin?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Buzzing. Full band on the Sunday.
Oh my god, that's so cool. What would you say is the most politely rebellious thing you've ever done? I think you've named a few things as the conversation's gone on.
I think maybe just doing what I do now.
Yeah.
Like, going and doing things like taking my clothes off and having my picture taken, when in reality I don't have no business getting naked. Like,
oh, shut up.
But I think just teaching myself to have that kind of like fuck it mindset.
Yeah.
And doing that and releasing music and writing songs about people, and people are going to know who it's about. Like, not all songs. I think some people are quite naive to it. Like, I know there is people that listen to my songs constantly and have no idea it's about them.
Yeah.
Like,
are there some songs that you write and release and think, I want you to know that's about you?
No, because I don't. the songs that I've released that are about people, they're all about people, obviously. So, Someday was about a guy. His name's Zach. And I was sort of like in a very. I thought so at the time, but now I just look at him and think, ugh. But I think he was like a comfort blanket for me. Like, he was quite soon. I think he's the first person who I kind of opened up to and allowed myself to be a little bit vulnerable with after like my marriage. And then it just became like a comfort thing. And then before I know it, like, I'm 3 years deep.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, his phone's ringing in the middle of the night and it's another girl. And that was like a constant thing. And then I would allow him to talk me round or come. I would always tell him to get out and don't speak to me no more and I hate you and you're this, you're that. And then a week later he'd be like, oh, I really miss you. And I'd be like, oh God, yeah, come round actually because I'm so lonely.
Are you at a point in your life now where you're comfortable being single?
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's a part of me that wants to go, right, we're doing a shout out for Michelle Price, line up, but no narcissist pricks or cheaters allowed. But then at the same time, I kind of feel like you're in your zone.
Yeah, I am at a point now where I think I've always been very needy, and I am needy. Like, even my friends, I'm needy with my friends, but I'm not at a point now where I actually do need someone, and I don't. Like, whereas I've always sort of not been content unless I've had someone or something, even if it's just someone to talk to that I'm not even interested in, because I'll do that. I'll just have someone that I can text every day and I think, I don't.
Morning.
Yeah, like, just to have that, like, and I think, what a waste of my time and theirs, because I have no intention at all. But I have got to the stage now, and I think it's only actually been the last year since the last disastrous, crazy thing I was involved in, that now I thought that my marriage was a lesson, it wasn't. And then I thought that, like, Zach was a lesson and he wasn't. And then the few people in between, I thought they were lessons learned, but they weren't. But then that one thing that I won't talk about, but that one person has taught me everything I needed to know.
The most recent.
Yeah. So it's been a year now. And in that year, that's when I think I've done the most growth throughout my adult life. And I think as well, like, I have a male best friend, and I think that. Is that Ray? Yeah, Ray. Yeah. And I think that he.
I don't know you, Ray. I've just been stalking her.
Yeah. So I do. We spend a lot of time together.
Really cute.
And I think that he now. I think he's like an example for me to go by. Like, not that I would ever be with somebody like him. Let me tell you. But because of the way that he is as a friend, I think, well, if I'm getting that out of a friendship, that you best be bringing way more to the table.
100%. I mean, and I think that this is the misconception, isn't it, of like what a good relationship looks like. And you know, like, a lot of people will turn down guys because they're too nice, or because, we're just friends. And
I think we all do it. Like, I'm one of them that don't like someone who's too nice, but I think I do that for your own good, because I think actually I'll probably walk all over you. Like, if I can wrap you around my little finger, I absolutely will.
Yeah, but I think the point I was getting at was that, like, it's that best friend element. You know, is that your partner? My personal belief is that, like, your partner, especially if that's someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, or they should be your best friend.
Yeah, 100%.
They should be your biggest cheerleader.
My nan said that to me in our garden about a year and a half ago. Actually, I was in the garden with. Oh no, it might have been last summer. Sitting in the garden with my nan, and we were talking, and I think my nan and granddad, they had such a lovely relationship. My granddad passed away quite a few years ago now, and my nan lives her best life. But my nan is the best person in this world. Like, nobody has more fun than her. Like, she is just amazing. Like, I say when I grow up, like, I'm not 34, but when I'm older, if I'm not my nan, I don't even want to be here. Like, I only want to be her.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Her and my granddad, like, they had such a beautiful relationship. Like, I just remember them always laughing and joking and smiling, and my nan said to me, like, all you got to do is find a best friend and marry them. Because she was saying to me, I think she'd been saying to me, God, do you think you'd ever get married again and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh gosh, no. Like, don't make the same mistake twice.
Scarred for life.
Although I had a lovely day.
And
I really liked getting all dressed up. It was at prom for me because I didn't get to go to my prom. So it was my prom day. But yeah, so I do believe that. I think that you should have someone who is your best friend.
Yeah, 100. It's funny because my other half, like when I first met him, he was the complete opposite of the guys that I was going for. Like, especially looks wise as well, like he's white and ginger, whereas all my exes were like brown, all black. So he was like, and I remember when I first met him, which was like 13 years ago now, and people were like, huh?
Really?
Like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And it's obviously only as the years go by that people start to kind of realise, I think, as we all get older, you know, like why it works and why it is the way it is, and it is that he's my best mate.
Yeah,
which is nice because sometimes, as much as friends are amazing, friends can and do come and go.
Yeah,
so it's 100%. Like that constant, which is lush. So one of the things that I do love about you, fangirl moment, is that you're a proper grafter, like you've got 3 kids. You could probably just go on the dole, like a lot of Pompey girls do, and focus on your music. Do you know what I mean? Get cash nan from your gigs, write more songs, do more recordings.
Well, don't put ideas in me.
Well, do you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like, what stops you from doing that? Because, I mean, you work like pretty much full time, right?
Yeah.
And you're running the house, and you're gigging, and you're writing.
And I'm knackered. So tired all the time.
Like, what do you do? Like, how do you juggle that?
I don't know. I actually don't. Like, please know that at least once a week I will be like, I can't do this no more. I'm so tired. I'm fucking sick of this. I do that. I say that most days.
Yeah.
But I think if I was at home all day, as much as I'd like to think I'll just sit and write and be productive, no, I would not. I'd lay on the sofa eating shit and watching Netflix. I just would. But I need to be doing things. Like, I think I have such an overactive mind that I have to be like physically productive and doing something and keep myself distracted and getting on with something. Otherwise I'd end up going doolally, I reckon.
But all 3 of your children are girls?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an epic
It's
role model
horrendous.
as well. Are you conscious of being that positive role model for them?
I do try and be. Like, I wouldn't sit here and say that I'm a perfect parent. Like,
no, who is?
being a mum's well hard.
Yeah, mate.
And
I've only got one. God.
I think I've noticed
You're
that
like
more
Superwoman,
recently. Like, having now like teenage girls.
Yeah.
And they've been being like little shits at school, and them going through things that, you know, that we would have gone through when we were teenage girls. Like, and it's so hard to not lose your mind. Like, it really is.
And to know how to navigate it. I mean, you say obviously, yes, they're going through things that we went through when we were younger, but we had the privilege of doing it without social media.
Yeah.
Like, that in itself, like, can you imagine? Like, being down St Mary's Church, drinking 2020 and a bottle of cherry Lambrini, and then like getting off with some lad on the bench. And
but then everyone would feel, oh no.
Like, could you imagine?
My life would be ruined if there was camera phones and social media when we were kids. I'd probably be in jail.
Oh yeah, 100.
In prison. I'd actually be in prison. But oh yeah, no, I don't envy this generation, not one bit. I'm so glad we didn't have. I remember like when we started getting like, it was at MSN and Pixo sites, and they were life ruiners. Yeah. I remember someone put a page about me on someone's Pixo site. It was like a girl. She was like my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. And she got like her friend to put a whole page about me on her Pixo site, which was all just like, for people to leave bitchy comments.
Nice. Like you do.
And luckily for me, I wasn't a very sensitive kid, and it was just all like, I used to read. I would read it and laugh, or
find her in the toilet.
Yeah. But it didn't bother me. But you know, for some girls, that could have been really horrendous.
Yeah.
And I try and teach my girls to be nice to each other, but they're not. Like, and you know, you can't control it completely. Like, I'll hear my kids be like, "Oh, you shut up, you fat bitch," and I think they're all very skinny as well. I'm just like, you lot mad? Like, why are you talking to each other like that? Don't be so nasty. And I'm like, because I hate her. Like, they're just going through that bitchy vibe at the moment.
Any of your girls sing? We'll try.
So yeah, so Layla and Millie, the two oldest, they can sing.
Right.
They won't.
Right.
And they don't. But when you hear them, they could absolutely sing.
2.0 in the making somewhere.
Whereas Gracie, bless her heart, she is the most adorable kid in the world. Like, she's so innocent, and I love it. Like, I do baby her a bit, and I think she's probably the way she is because she gets babies.
Is that because she's your
yeah,
so she's your last,
and I knew that I would never have another.
Right.
So she has been properly babied, but she's just so innocent and like she's so sensitive and so full of love, and she's so kind. Like, she spends her evenings just like writing letters to like her teachers, to my friends. Like, she wrote a letter.
She's the future singer-songwriter, isn't she? She's just going to wake up one day and shock you all.
No, her voice is absolutely
abysmal,
awful.
Oh, really?
Like, I have to be like, Gracie, stop now, because it gets so annoying, because it's so bad. And I'm like, please go find something you're good at, because it ain't that. And like, my dad's wife was saying to the garden the other day, I was around there, and I had to tell Gracie to stop singing. And Andrea, my dad's wife, was like, "Oh, don't be mean." And I was like, "Nah, let me tell you one thing I won't have. I won't have my child in the future going on something like X Factor, making a complete show of themselves, and then them being like, well, my mum said I was good.
Mum said
I won't be that mum.
No.
When you're good at something, I'll let you know. I won't encourage that though.
No,
I won't let you go and embarrass yourself.
No, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't tell your kids.
Thing is just
shouldn't tell your kids they're good at stuff that they're not. Oh. No. Like, if you enjoy to sing, cool. Do it in the bathroom, shut the door. But when we find something that you're really good at, you best believe I'll be your number one fan, and I'll push you as far as you can go. But singing is not for Gracie.
Singing's not for Gracie.
But she loves it though.
Does she?
And she loves dancing, and she's always making herself little TikToks and stuff. Like, I find them on the drafts on my phone all the time. Like, TikToks that she's made, and they are so fun.
Cute. So what would you say the future holds for Michelle Price?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, I won't need a day job in the near future.
That would be nice.
And I will be able to just do music, and hopefully it will be, I want to do like some travelling and stuff. Like, I was really lucky I got asked to go and sing in Turkey.
Wow.
Was it last month, the month before? I don't know, days all blend in with me.
Was that for like an event? Or?
It was for on the beach.
Oh wow.
So they had like all classic package holidays, like, which is with on the beach. They have like yearly seminar things where they get travel agents from loads of different companies from all over the UK.
Yeah.
There was like 150, 200 agents that they just put up in a hotel for a week.
Yeah.
And it's just like a week-long party. And I was so nervous before I went, because I was like, no, I have to be like super professional. But this is a big deal. Couldn't believe I'd been asked. And I've been asked to do so many things over the years, like cruise ships and jobs abroad. But because I've always been on my own with the kids,
it's hard.
I've always had to say no. And when this came up, I was like, do you know what? They're that bit older now. I didn't even give it a second thought. Who might look after my kids? Who's going to look after my business?
Just
like,
I'm going to make it happen.
I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I thought I'll figure out the rest along the way. And so I went and done that, but I was like, oh my god, I've got to be really professional. Like, got to behave.
Got out there, they probably all bankered.
I won't be able to drink. That I was like, oh, I'm gonna. I was so scared. I was trying to get Ray to come with me. I was like, do you not want to come with me? Like, I'm scared to go on my own. I've never travelled alone either. So I was shitting myself about like flying alone and stuff, because I'm a bit of a liability. I thought, I ain't getting through an airport by myself. Like, I won't make it through security on my own. Like, they're gonna be like, have you not got an adult? But
you done it.
I done it, and actually it was the easiest travelling I've ever done. Like, proper breeze through it. It was like so unstressful. And then I got there and I thought, right, let's just be quiet, be good, stay in your room, don't drink, don't talk to anyone, do your singing, sit back in your room. I didn't go to bed for 5 days.
She was in amongst
I had like 40,000 new best friends within 2 hours.
Oh, I love it.
But it was so nice.
What an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So if you could see somebody on Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey, who would you want it to be? Obviously Rihanna is shooting too far for the start, so keep it Pompey.
So someone from Portsmouth. Do you know what? That's really hard because there's a lot of amazing people around here. There actually is as well. Like, you've got people like Jen and Holly that do all the Liberty stuff. They're incredible.
I mean, that was a proper movement, that wasn't it? Just whilst we're here, like Liberty.
I think that was a proper game changer.
100%, yeah.
And they do so many amazing things. There are. I think you mentioned Bianca earlier that does mindset maintenance. Yeah. She does amazing stuff. I think it's hard because there are just so many people that do so much good.
Yeah. Do you think that when we were growing up that there were this many people doing so much amazing stuff?
But I think that's because there were no platforms for it. Like, we didn't have social media and stuff. So I
wonder, there was, we just didn't know about it.
Wouldn't have, so it wouldn't have really gone anywhere because where would they have put themselves? Like, you're going to put an ad in the paper. What else could you do?
Come listen to me on Guildhall Strikes at 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Spray paint a sheet and put it on Southampton Road.
Do you remember? They still do that.
Actually.
They still do that.
I don't often drive past there. Yeah, happy birthday signs.
Yeah, 100% they still do it.
Like, get a card, innit?
just post
or right on their wall now. You just write it on their face. You don't need to get anyone a card.
Need to get an old blanket. The traditions.
But no, I think Jen or Holly would be a good addition for the podcast.
Cool. Well, we're coming for you.
Or guilt tripping.
Or guilt tripping. I know, right? I'd have to get to.
Like, I can't really vote for myself again. But when it's guilt tripping, I don't actually look at it as me. When I put guilt tripping forward, it's such a different thing.